U-Haul has ranked states by their net gain or their net loss of one-way movers in 2024. And to no one's surprise, Americans are fleeing liberal strongholds for the greener pastures of red states. According to U-Haul, the top 5 states U-Haul renters move to are 1, South Carolina, 2, Texas, North Carolina, Florida, and Tennessee. While the bottom 5 states that renters move to, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Kamala Harris's and Gavin Newsom's California coming in dead last. Coincidentally, 3 of the bottom 5 are among the highest tax states in the country. U-Haul International's president says migration to the Southeast and Southwest continues as families gauge their cost of living, job opportunities, quality of life, and other factors that go into relocating to a new state. Outmigration remains prevalent for a number of markets across the Northeast, Midwest, and West Coast, and particularly California. So, Jason, why are people moving out of these Democrat high tax states?
I don't know. No, to be honest, and that's an honest answer because, of course, we know that the red states are subsidized by blue states and by blue state taxes. A lot of those red states, I notice, people don't want to move to Mississippi or Alabama, but those are states that literally get most of their money from, blue states paying into the federal government subsidizing them. So why people want to move there, I really couldn't tell you. But I understand why people who have money would want to shelter their money and go to Florida or go to Texas. I totally get that.
Luke. I think it has in large part to do with the inviting business climate of these red states, because the businesses move from these high tax states like California and Massachusetts and others to these states where there is no income tax for their employees, there is a healthier environment for their businesses to grow and thrive, and people are going to follow. I think that the only businesses that are probably impacted negatively in these red states are U-Haul vans that have gone down to the south and have no way to go back up to the north because nobody's moving from the south up to the north. Right. I think that has in large part to do with it.
I mean, who wants to live in these crime-infested cities, these high-tax cities? Quality of life stinks. I mean, Amber.
Yeah,
I mean, you moved out of D.C.
Yeah, I did. So I started in Maryland. I lived in D.C. for college and then immediately went across the river to Virginia and have been there ever since. And I have a lot of family members who moved down to Florida during the pandemic from places like Chicago. And it's all for the same reason. You keep trying to get to a more free environment, an environment where you're not paying as much in taxes. And unfortunately, I always joke, if a Republican doesn't get reelected governor in Virginia, I might be in South Carolina by the time I retire.
Maybe. How about you, Christopher?
No, absolutely. And anyone that's owned a small business, I mean, we have a progressive tax system. The more you earn, the more you're supposed to pay. But for businesses that crime and others, it has made it undesirable and really made it hard for small business owners, the backbone of America. And so I think that's been one of the appeal in the southern states. They're freer, they're warmer, and who wouldn't want that?
And
I'm looking at gun violence. I'm looking at a list of the states that lead in gun violence. And a lot of those are places in the South.
And it's cities within those states.
I mean, so Alabama, Montana.
Again, like,
where's the blue city in Montana?
New York has a ton of Republican
Missouri,
allies.
Alaska, Missouri,
concentrated
like
Louisiana. So this idea, this idea that you're safer in a red state than a blue state.
Okay, let's say the red parts of any state.
Got to visit
Let's say the red parts of any state, because to Amber's point, she's talking about Atlanta versus Georgia.
Where is the blue city in Montana, which is one of the leading states, per capita with gun violence?
We've seen Montana violence and these riots.
All I can tell you go to New York City, if you go on the subway, you might burn to death.
I think
that could be
Bozeman
really
in
bad.
Montana is
That could
really
be really
high.
bad. So that's why when you look at these blue cities, these cities run by Democrats, they are run to the ground, and the American people do not feel safe, and it's why they're leaving.
Is it safe in Miami?
Miami,
which is a red city. Miami is not safe.
Fabulous.
Go to Little Haiti, Opelika. Go to some of those places.
Tell you,
and funny enough,
not safe.
It's a blue area.